So we will continue on. I have a couple of announcements. We probably need a motion to come back from recess.
So moved.
Motion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Harrod.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Grayson.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan.
Yes.
Mrs. Scruggs.
Yes.
Mr. Umstead.
Yes.
Mr. Woodson.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I would like to make the announcements to the following, to the changes to today's agenda. Under item 25-268 consent agenda, item C will be added. Consider approval of AHS seniors to Marlboro, Maryland, 5/10/25 to 5/11/25. This is not an overnight trip, but due to arrival after midnight, it must be approved as such. Under items 25-269, informational items, D, division operational update and board development materials 2 will be deleted. Under instructional report, 25-268 will be added as an action item. This item is considered approval for the 24-25 academic calendar amendment. This item will be inserted after 25-275. Under administration reports and recommendations, items 25-288 CMS situation update will be added. This item will be inserted prior to 25-276. Under additions to the agenda, item 25-277, considered acceptance of school nutrition grants from the Allegheny Foundation will be added as an action item. Under item 25-284, closed session pupil case 2568 will also be discussed and included for action under agenda item 25-287, Percent Code Virginia Section 2.2.1-2545E, compulsory attendance release. Under item 25-284, closed session Virginia Code 2.2-3711.A.8 will be added for a purpose of consultation with legal counsel for the provision of legal advice by such counsel regarding a teacher grievance matter, including case S25-09. Item 25-288, board decision of approval of teacher grievance S-2509 will be added as an action item. This will be added after item 25-283. We'll start today's meeting out with 25-266. Chamber of Commerce Educator of the Year Support Personnel Finals. Mr. Vaughn.
Good evening, Chairman Littleton, school board members, superintendents, audience members. This is an exciting evening that we get to recognize a few of our staff members who have been selected this year as the Chamber of Commerce Educators and School Support Personnel of the Year for our division. We have over 500 employees with our division. And these are folks that, again, are examples of the great staff that we have here. And so I'm going to start off with, we have a series of our principals, and the staff members are going to come up and be introduced tonight. I'm going to start off with Covington Middle School Principal, Ms. Karen Stinger.
Good evening, Mr. Littleton, Mr. Franson, board members, Superintendents Halterman and Snead Johnson. I am privileged to be here tonight to introduce our employees of the year. And I'm going to start with our school service personnel nominee, Mr. Randall Toby Allen. Mr. Allen. Mr. Allen began his career with Covington City Public Schools 17 years ago at Covington High School, and he has remained in the same building that entire time, coming with us through the consolidation and now serving us with Covington Middle School. Mr. Allen is a bright spot for our students. He loves to interact with them, and they are always so excited to see him, so I know they're looking forward to getting back tomorrow and seeing Mr. Toby. Toby's also well known in the community. He often sings at various events, he preaches, he officiates weddings. I didn't know about the weddings till all of this. And he attends Good News Church in Covington. In addition to his community involvement, his spare time is spent cheering on his San Francisco 49ers and the North Carolina Tar Heels. So we have a little bond with that. We were very happy after yesterday, right? He and his wife Trina have 3 sons, a daughter-in-law, and 2 grandsons. So again, it is my pleasure to present the CMS School Service Personnel Award recipient, Mr. Randall Toby Allen.
Thank you.
Okay, next I have the distinct honor of introducing Mrs. Tina Fields, who is not only the Covington Middle School Educator of the Year, but the Allegheny Highlands Public Schools Educator of the Year. Originally from West Virginia, Mrs. Fields and her husband moved to the Allegheny Highlands in 1995. She spent 28 years of teaching, spanning numerous schools and 3 divisions, having started at Valley Elementary in Bath County before moving to the Allegheny County Public Schools, where she taught various grades at Falling Spring, Mountain View, and Clifton Middle School, and now after the merger, Covington Middle School. Since moving to the middle school level, she says she's found a love in teaching middle school age children, and it definitely shows. Upon coming to Covington Middle, Mrs. Fields asked to switch to language arts from social studies. However, she has also agreed to teach 2 sections of civics to help us out. So she teaches 6 classes a day, no breaks for her. But we are so thankful for her dedication, and our students most certainly are the beneficiaries of her love of teaching. She sets the bar high, and they consistently reach those expectations. Mrs. Fields holds a bachelor's degree in elementary education from West Virginia State and a master's degree in curriculum and instruction from the University of Virginia. She is no stranger to this award, having been named the 2009 Teacher of the Year for Allegheny County Public Schools. She and her husband Will, a special education teacher and football coach at Allegheny High School, have 2 daughters, Caitlin and Grace, who are both AHS graduates. So please join me in congratulating my friend and colleague, Mrs. Tina Fields, the CMS and AHPS Educator of the Year.
Chairman Littleton, Mrs. Halterman, Mrs. Snee Johnson, and board members. I would like to introduce to you tonight Tammy Looney from Jeter Watson. She's our Teacher of the Year. This year, Tammy Hope Looney is our Teacher of the Year. As a veteran teacher, Mrs. Looney has a passion for education, and it is evident in her daily lessons that she teaches and fosters a love of learning. With a master's degree in special education and a recently completed administration and supervision degree from Radford University, Ms. Looney is a leader in educational excellence. Her passion for literacy is outstanding. She was among the first educators in our division to be trained in Orton Gillingham. She was always has a dedication, and it is evident in her evidence-based literacy instruction. Her deep knowledge of special education processes makes her a valuable resource for both students, colleagues, and families. She has an ability to connect with students on an individual level, ensuring that each child feels valued and supported in their journey. Ms. Looney plays an important role in our school community. She leads our during and after school All in Virginia program, ensuring that students receive continued academic support. She is currently also the only teacher in our district who is class trained, allowing her to serve as class observer and to provide insight and give feedback to VPI classrooms, enhancing the quality of early childhood education across our school system. In addition, Ms. Looney serves as our principal designee when Ms. Tickner and I are not able, ensuring a smooth daily operation within the learning environment of our school. Daily, she is willing to help mentor, supervise, and to assist where needed. Teaching 4-year-olds takes a very special heart. She exemplifies a blend of kindness, creativity, and enthusiasm. When students were asked about Ms. Looney, they responded, "I like my teacher. She is pretty. I like her hair and her beautiful outfits. She has taught me everything I know. She teaches me letters. She talks about being a super friend. I love her with all my heart, and she taught me how to sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Her ability to create a warm and nurturing classroom environment allows our little learners to thrive, explore, and to develop into lifelong learners. She instills confidence, curiosity, and a sense of wonder in each child that she teaches. This recognition is very well deserved, and we are very grateful for her passion and heart for education. Congratulations, Ms. Looney.
Chairman Littleton, Mrs. Halderman, and Mrs. Sneed Johnson, board members, I'd like to introduce to you today Ms. Teresa Calvert. Kind, compassionate, humble, hardworking, dedicated, professional, and positive. These are just a few of the many words that beautifully capture the essence of Mrs. Teresa Calvert. Ms. Calvert is truly beyond a remarkable individual, and her selflessness and devotion are beyond compare. She is the kind of person who embodies what it means to be a team player, always willing to lend a hand and go the extra mile. She carries herself with a sense of regal elegance, making every task she takes on seem effortless and graceful. On any given day, you'll hear her say things like, tell me where you need me and I'll go. Just let me know how I can help. But the phrase that best captures her unwavering willingness is simply yes. Miss Calvert, would you like to ride a bus? Yes. Do after-school tutoring? Yes. Help out in early childhood? Yes. Would you be willing to help in your least favorite grade? Yes, but only because I love you. Ms. Calvert's journey began with us at Jeter Watson in 2022, following her tenure at the historic Clifton Middle School. In total, Ms. Calvert has been with the AHPS school system for 24 years. She initially joined our team as a paraprofessional in 2nd grade. Prior to Jeter Watson, she was a paraprofessional at Allegheny High School and Clifton Middle School, providing crucial support to students who needed additional assistance. When a vacancy opened for a Title I paraprofessional, it was clear that Mrs. Calvert was the perfect fit. And of course, true to her nature, she said yes. Ms. Calvert is adored by her students who thrive under her guidance. She's deeply appreciated and cherished by all of the adults she works with, who admire her humility, professionalism, and unwavering positivity. Her impact on the school community is immeasurable, and we are truly fortunate to have her as a part of our team. It is without pause or hesitation that we announce the 2025 School Service Personnel of the Year for Jeter Watson, as well as for the Allegheny Highlands Public School, Mrs. Teresa Calvert. This might be the first no.
Good evening, board members, Mrs. Johnson, community. I'm here representing Allegheny High School. I was told tonight that I was the third batter, and I thought there's no better place in the lineup, right? So I'm here to introduce first our Teacher of the Year for Allegheny High School. It is my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Michelle Reed, an outstanding educator. Mrs. Reed is an outstanding educator who has made a significant impact at Allegheny High School. With over a decade of experience, Mrs. Reed has dedicated herself to creating an engaging and supportive learning environment for her students. Her teaching philosophy is rooted in ensuring students feel safe, encouraged, and challenged in their learning. She inspires critical thinking by incorporating historical analysis and the arts into her lessons, helping students connect the past to the present in meaningful ways. Beyond the classroom, Mrs. Reed has played a vital role in school activities and student success, serving as senior sponsor, organizing fundraisers, coordinating senior events, and ensuring graduation is a memorable experience for all. Her commitment to both academic excellence and student growth exemplifies what it means to be an outstanding educator. Tonight, we celebrate her dedication and the positive influence she has on our school community. We couldn't do it without her. Please join me in recognizing Mrs. Michelle Reed. Okay. Now I would like to introduce Allegheny High School Service Member of the Year. It is an honor to introduce Mrs. Nicole Eggleston. Mrs. Eggleston is a dedicated and indispensable member of Allegheny High School staff. Mrs. Eggleston serves as our attendance secretary, where she plays a crucial role in ensuring smooth school operations. Despite transitioning into the role mid-year, she quickly adapted and mastered attendance management, demonstrating her ability to learn and lead under pressure. Mrs. Eggleston is more than just an attendance secretary. She is a problem solver, a team player, and a leader in our school community. She has stepped up in countless ways, from helping manage after-school detention to assisting with securing substitute teachers. Her professionalism and her warmth make her the first friendly face many students and families see when they enter the building. Mrs. Eggleston also embodies continuous growth, and we are super happy about this. She's working toward her teaching endorsement in English, proving that she is committed not just to serving students now, but also to shaping the future of education. She is a true ambassador for Allegheny Highlands Public Schools, and we are grateful for her dedication. Please join me in celebrating Mrs. Nicole Eggleston. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor, for that wonderful introduction. I appreciate that. I'm Josh Pratt, principal at Jackson River Technical Center. And I am privileged tonight to publicly recognize our 2025 Chamber of Commerce Educator and Support Staff nominees of the year for Jackson River Technical Center, Ms. John L. Cantrell. Ms. Cantrell holds a bachelor's degree, let's start this over. Ms. Cantrell holds a bachelor's degree in nursing from James Madison University and has been the nurse aide instructor at JRTC since 2018. Before her transition to the education sector, she worked as an ICU nurse, a hospice and home health nurse, and nursing supervisor. In 2009, she transitioned from taking care of the infirmed in the hospital to taking care of the infirmed at school, becoming the school nurse for Covington City Public Schools, where she remained until taking over the nurse aide program at JRTC. As program head, Jonelle oversees the academic and skills-based instruction of patient healthcare competencies at 3 levels and ensures that our program meets the standards of accreditation prescribed by the Virginia Board of Nursing, which we have that visit tomorrow. She serves as advisor of a very active student HOSA organization where under her leadership, students have competed and placed in various healthcare related competitions at the state and national levels. During the second semester of each year, while most of her colleagues are taking advantage of a much needed planning period throughout the day, Jonelle accompanies her senior students to their required clinical sites and coordinates and supervises their working experiences in actual healthcare facilities. In January, Jonelle was invited by the Virginia Department of Education to participate as a member of the curriculum revision team for the nurse aide programs across the Commonwealth. Since 2009, John students have achieved a near perfect pass rate on Virginia's CNA exam, which with individual scores both on the written and the skills-based portions well above the state average. Although it's not in her job description, I'm grateful to have John on the premises as a resident RN in those rare and unfortunate occasions when the combination of heavy equipment and teenagers don't go as planned. And as our nurse aid program director, John is loved and admired by her students, both the present and the past, and she is very much respected by our colleagues at JRTC. Ms. Cantrell, thank you. Are we hugging? And our service personnel nominee from JRTC is Melody Weiss. She is not here today, but I feel kind of awkward standing up here alone, so I'm going to need a stand-in. Jaden, you want to come up here and stand in for Miss Weiss? This is Jaden Madsen. He is one of our building management students at JRTC, and I know this week will be thrilled to have Jaden stand in for her. You just stand in there and try to look as pretty as Miss Weiss, okay? All right. Melody Weiss is in her 10th year as a financial director and administrative assistant at JRTC, having served in those capacities since 2015. And over the past decade, she has single-handedly dispensed millions of CTE funds for the betterment of our facility. She has 34 years of experience in financial and front office management, first with the Cato Company of West Virginia, then with the Allegheny Highlands Chamber of Commerce prior to coming to JRTC. Following the merger of Allegheny County and Covington City Public Schools, Melody managed 2 separate financial operations simultaneously, since JRTC was previously a regional center jointly operated by both school divisions. And as a result of that merger of the divisions and a recent turnover in the staff, Melody has provided individual and group professional development sessions throughout the year about the protocols and procedures from correctly filling out a purchase order to receiving the money from customers, as well as making sure that everything that I purchase is on that approved state list of materials and supplies. And to add one more element of complexity to her job, due to the entrepreneurial nature of JRTC's programs, it is not an understatement to say that she manages the books for multiple small businesses within our school, in addition to overseeing the entire fiscal management of our organization. I appreciate Melody every day, and she is well respected and feared by her colleagues at JRTC and is much deserving of this recognition. So Jaden, for standing in for Miss Melody, thank you very much. And now I yield the floor to my esteemed colleague from Callahan, Lisa Hampton.
Good afternoon, Chairman Littleton, board members, and superintendents. Callahan Elementary School proudly recognizes Mr. Todd Pratt as the recipient of the Chamber of Commerce School Personnel Award, honoring his exceptional contributions over his 2 years at Allegheny Highlands Public Schools. A U.S. Navy veteran with expertise in construction management and welding, Mr. Pratt embodies a spirit of service and teamwork, consistently going above and beyond for the school community. His welcoming demeanor, dedication to maintaining a safe and clean environment, and commitment to promoting respect and pride greatly enhances the overall atmosphere at Callahan Elementary, making him an invaluable ambassador for AHPS. Please help me in congratulating Mr. Todd Pratt. Next, it's my honor to congratulate Ms. Carrie Clays on being named Callahan Elementary's 24-25 Chamber of Commerce Educator of the Year. With 28 years of experience in special education, a solid academic foundation from Iowa State University and Grand Canyon University, and active involvement in various educational organizations, Ms. Clays exemplifies dedication and compassion each and every day. When asked about her teaching philosophy, she states, "I am dedicated to teaching all children, no matter their ability, because I believe they all deserve an education that is guided by research-based practices, as well as knowledge of child development and the continuum of growth. I am dedicated to providing developmentally appropriate experiences, facilitating growth in all areas of development, while providing modifications and adaptations that are needed for each individual child." Her commitment to providing developmentally appropriate experiences for all children, regardless of their abilities, alongside her generous support for colleagues and students alike, truly makes her an invaluable asset to Callahan community. She never hesitates to lend a hand to her colleagues, even though her plate is completely overflowing. We are very blessed to have a kind, considerate team member such as Miss Carrie, as her students call her. Please join me in congratulating Miss Carrie Clays as Callahan Elementary's Educator of the Year. And Mallory, you're up.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mallory Thompson, principal at Mountain View Elementary, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Miss Amy Fridley. So for the last 2 years, Mountain View Cafeteria has been bustling with positive energy. Amy Fridley has brought exciting new foods, a flexibility that is unmatched, and ideas that encourage students to try new foods. Amy Fridley is an Allegheny High School graduate who came to our division with a wealth of experience in cooking and serving food. She volunteers in our community regularly and never says no when we ask her to help with anything. She has many different certificates, including Serve Safe Food Handlers and Serve Safe Food Manager. She's attended many school food nutrition training sessions, as well as a summer workshop. Amy works tirelessly as our site supervisor for summer school each year, as well as the summer feeding program. She works hand in hand with her staff, as well as our school staff and our service supervisor for Allegheny County Public Schools. From coming in on the weekend to save food in a power outage, to preparing food for virtual students, to feeding students with flashlights in another unexpected power outage, Amy has clearly done it all. A staff member said this about Amy: she goes out of her way to assist with dietary needs and make sure that all of our students are fed and happy. She has a passion for feeding children and has always dreamed of being a lunch lady, and you can tell. We celebrate Miss Amy Fridley, Mountain View Elementary School Service Personnel Winner for the 2024-2025 school year. Thank you for everything you do. I make them stand next to me, so they have to soak it all in. So fostering curiosity, critical thinking, and lifelong learning are just a few things that come to mind when it comes to Mountain View Elementary School's Teacher of the Year. When you visit her classroom, you will find students engaging in hands-on learning activities that tailor to each of their needs and interests. Mrs. Sandy Moss is a fellow Radford University alumni and completed her Master of Education in Instruction from the University of Virginia. She's been in her current position for 12 years, but has 22 total years of experience. Every Friday last year, 2 different students from Mrs. Moss's class came to read to me. First graders came to read to me, and I was blown away. Every year comes with its challenges, but Mrs. Moss addresses them without hesitation. She's a team player who leads the first grade teachers on the leadership team. She's a wonderful mentor for all kinds of new teachers over the years and works long hours after school and on the weekends to make sure her classroom is ready for her students each day. Mrs. Moss's teaching has been used as a model for others. Just recently at a school board meeting, we recorded one of her U-Fly lessons. She's completed letters training this year and uses it daily in her classroom. Not this year, but previously. Just this year, she has become certified in CPR and first aid, as well as evidence-based literacy instruction. She's an asset to our community as well. She's been a member of the Covington Women's Club for 22 years, an assistant baseball coach with her 2 boys, and she competes in 5Ks around our beautiful area. Mrs. Moss began a partnership with 5th grade teachers this year where students come down in the morning to work with other students, and she also hosts high school volunteers. One staff member said this about Mrs. Moss: a great teacher shapes not just young minds, but their hearts as well. Mrs. Moss does exactly that every single day in her first grade classroom. She nurtures a love for learning that will stay with her students for years to come. Mountain View is a better place because of the exceptional teaching that occurs in Mrs. Sandy Moss's classroom. Thank you for your dedication to each individual student and their families. Well deserved. And I believe that it is Chris Jones and Sharon Elementary.
All right, good evening, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to announce Vicki with an I, Hazlett, to you as Sharon Elementary's Educator of the Year. Ms. Hazlett has dedicated 24 years to Sharon Elementary School. She previously worked as a Title I assistant for many years while pursuing her passion to become a teacher. She took online classes at Dabney Lancaster and Mary Baldwin College. This year celebrates her third year as a kindergarten teacher. Ms. Hazlett hopes to enrich the lives of her students while instilling in them a love for learning. She incorporates games in her math and reading lessons to engage her students in their learning journey. Over the last 30 years, Ms. Hazlett has also worked at a community outreach at her church, where she has led her children's church, has been a Sunday school teacher, a nursery worker, and helped with the youth group. Her weekends are centered around her 4 daughters and grandchildren. I can tell you that if you drive by Sharon Elementary around 6 o'clock in the evening, there's a high probability that her car is still there almost every night. And I've been in a lot of schools and a lot of school districts, but this is one of the most dedicated educators that you will find anywhere. So congratulations, Ms. Hazen, you definitely deserve it. All right, it's my honor, taking great pride in introducing our Service Personnel of the Year awardee to Katie Gibson. In just under 2 years at Sharon Elementary School, she has shown exceptional dedication and passion for both her professional and personal commitments. These are pretty good, so listen to what all she's been doing here. Balancing her role as a dedicated mother of 2, Riley and Easton, and being a full-time college student while working, she continues to go above and beyond all aspects of life. Whether closely working with teachers and staff to organize school events or building strong relationships with parents. Ms. Gibson shows leadership and genuine care for Sharon Elementary community every day. Known for organizational skills, strong work ethic, and welcoming attitude, Katie has become an indispensable member of our team. She's a true ambassador of Allegheny Highlands Public Schools, always representing our values with professionalism, positivity, and an unwavering commitment to making a difference in the lives of our students, staff, and families. A quote from Ms. Halterman from earlier in the year: Katie is always that friendly administrative assistant in the office that gives you the great big smile every time you walk in. So we congratulate her. We know that we'll see her in the near future in the classroom, and she's going to do great things. So thank you, Katie.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to all the recipients. We'll do 25-267, Instructional Spotlight, Fluency Karaoke. I believe this is Caroline.
Good evening. I'm Sharon Shreve, and I'm a 3rd grade teacher at Callahan Elementary. And I want to thank Ms. Halterman for inviting me to share a reading strategy that I've introduced to my students this year. And I want to thank you for having me. Much of 3rd grade literacy focuses on reading comprehension. However, we continue to build decoding and fluency skills. The science of reading shows that one method of improving fluency, automaticity, and also confidence is repeated readings. This often takes the form of rereading the same passage for several days. This year, I decided to try fluency karaoke by combining repeated readings with singing. Each week I choose a new song. First the students listen to the song, then we read the lyrics in unison. Finally, we sing along with the lyrics video. We have sung a variety of oldies and some newer songs. Since implementing this strategy, I have observed great improvement in reading, particularly with some of my more reluctant readers. One of my students' favorite songs has been A Million Dreams from the movie The Greatest Showman. And they often ask me to repeat this one, and this is the one that Ms. Halterman came and observed our class singing, and she asked us to sing this one. And we're going to have hopefully the lyrics on the screen, and I want to invite everyone to sing along with us as I tell my students, I cannot carry a tune, but I won't make fun of you if you don't make fun of me. So whether you're a gifted singer or can't carry a tune like me, I want you to join us in singing, and I have some students here. I have Silas Riley, Colton Lilly, Grayley Boggs, Cooper Byer, and Zoe Hobbs are going to help us sing this. And so you guys come on up here and we'll get everybody to help us sing.
I'm really nervous. I told my family.
All right, and join with us.
I close my eyes and I can see the world is waiting up for me. Like I on my own. Through the dark, through the doors, through where no one's been before. What feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I lost my mind. I don't care if it all is crazy. We can live in the world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build, every room inside is filled. Just too far away. Special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say it all sounds nice. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
Thank you.
Thank y'all very much. Parent training one wants to go, we'll hope to get you, we love for everyone to stay. Move on to 25-268 consent agenda. This is an action item. A minutes of February 3rd work session called meeting, February 4th called meeting, and February 17th regular meeting. This also includes the review of the bill, consider approval of age, PS, and Allegheny High School seniors to Marlboro, generally from 5:10 to 5:11. This is not an overnight trip, but they will return after midnight. Any questions by board members on these items?
So anything that gets back after midnight has to be approved by us?
Yes. Anything's an overnight,
So athletic events too?
if they're overnight.
If there's no other questions, move for approval of consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
We have first by Mr. Eric, a second by Ms. Scruggs Duncan. Any further discussion by board members? If not, roll call.
Mr. Eric.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franson.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan.
Yes.
Mrs. Scruggs Duncan.
Yes.
Mr. Umstead.
Yes.
Mr. Woodson.
Yes, ma'am.
On to 25-269 informational items. We have A, cafeteria report, B, capital improvement and operational maintenance updates, C, budget report, and D, division operational updates and board development materials. Reminder of availability for consolidation documents, current activities and athletic recognition guidelines as deleted, and instruction VLA completion update.
Happy to speak to any of those as the board might wish, but there's information there on those hyperlinks. Importantly, those two pieces, they do answer some common questions. One is that the consolidation documents remain on our websites. This is one way to find them, just one way. And then we have a little update there on the Virginia Literacy Act. And that's basically that all of our teachers who are required to complete that training related to that act are doing so.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hunt. Any questions by board members? If not, we will move on to 25-270. Calendar information, April 2nd, VSBA Blue Ridge Regional Spring Network Forum. That is in Franklin County, I believe. April 14th is our regular meeting. April 17th, VSBA Hot Topic Conference. I believe that's in Charlottesville. And April 18th through 22nd, spring break, all schools and offices closed. Any questions by board members on the calendar information? If not, we will move on to 25-271, budget and finance. Approval of the 25-26 school division operation budget. This is an action item, but I will remind everyone, since I do serve on the budget committee as well, that this is always a changing document. Currently, right now, we have the governor's budget, but we're still waiting on the House and Senate budget. No, we're not? You got the House? Oh, good. That's great news. Thank you, Ms. Tracy.
Chairman Wilson, members of the board, Tracy's going to bring forward our budget this evening. It is a budget that the board budget committee has helped substantially in developing, and of course there's also been a board work session on, so we want to thank everyone for that input. As Chairman Littleton mentioned, it is a living document, and Ms. Persinger is letting us be the voice, the beginning here, to help make sure that you're aware that the budget does continue to prioritize those two goals of staff compensation and benefits, overall compensation packages, and preserving all of our programs. So thank you.
Yes, and you've got a lot of paper in front of you and a lot of numbers on it. And up on the screen there, you can see how much we're receiving, this is all our revenues and the different categories that we're receiving it. It compares the 25 and the 26 governor's budget, so you can see the difference in it. Karen, you'll go to the next screen. And that's the federal revenues, what we're expecting to receive in the federal revenues. Karen, the next one. And these are our local funds. Under the miscellaneous and other, there's a reduction. That's because we've used up all the Allegheny Foundation money for our communications supervisor. And then there's your state total, federal total, local total, and the grand total of the budget, the revenue for the year. And that's just the chart showing how much the breakdown of the revenues, where it comes from. And then these are all the different funds that we have. This is the Jackson River Governor's School Fund. Then we've got the textbook fund. This is our school construction fund. The track fund, this money was capital money for the track project. And the Fund 14 is the Joint School Division Incentive Funds. We will receive another $600,000 on that in April. That will be the end of our consolidation money. Fund 15 is food service, and that's all the different funds that we have. I know you all didn't have much time to look at it, and I do apologize for that. Are there any questions?
This budget does not increase our local contribution at
No,
all.
we level funded.
Thank you. I knew the number was close.
No, it's level funded. Anything else?
Thank you very much. If there's no other question, this is an action item. I'll take a motion to
Move for approval of the budget for the fiscal year 2025-2026 as presented.
Motion by Mr. Eric, second by Mr. Franson. Any further discussion by board members? If not, roll call.
Mr. Eric?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franson?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan?
Yes.
Mrs. Brooks Duncan?
Yes.
Mr. Olmsted?
Yes.
Mr. Woodson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, instructional reports and recommendations, 25-272, 2025 summer school recommendation staff planning. This is for information. Mr. Ross.
Chairman Wilmington, Ms. Halterman, Ms. Snead Johnson, board members, you have before you the recommended plan for summer school, similar to what we've done in the past. The goal is to make sure we're taking care of all of our students during the summer as well as during the school year. Do you have any questions?
Any questions from Mr. Ross? Board members? I don't think so, Mr. Ross. Thank you, sir. Next item, 25-273, Black History Month activities. This is an informational item. Mr. Ross.
Came before you in January with the plans for each of the schools and for February, and what you have before you in your packet is what the schools were able to accomplish. Do want to make special mention of the video that was done at JRTC, how Black Americans transform industry and trade professionals. That was well done by either Mr. Kraft or one of the staff members. It was a great opportunity. And I also want to, there was a business leadership fair at Allegheny High School. I was able to attend that, and that was an extraordinary event. Got to talk and listen to different people from the community about Black businesses that have been around in our area, and unfortunately a lot of them are no longer here, but it was a chance to learn a lot of history. And there was a multicultural event the same night at Jeter Watson. Unfortunately, I was at Allegheny, so I didn't attend that, but I understand that was well attended and went very well. You have any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Ross? Thank you for the report, Mr. Ross. Next item is 25-274, Career and Technical Education Local Plan. Quickly, you want to explain that, Mr. Ross?
Yeah.
One after another.
This is basically just information to let you know that next month I have a CT advisory board meeting tomorrow afternoon where we'll look at our Perkins plan and make some adjustments and see where we want to go with a few things. What you have before you now is basically last year's budget, which is it is how Perkins works every year. You get last year's budget, you start there, and then at some point they'll give you numbers for this year, and then we will adjust and go forward from there. Like I said, this is informational, just let you know it's coming for a vote for next month, and that'll be after the CT advisory team has had a chance to review it and make any changes we need to do. Any questions?
Any questions by board members?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ross. All right, 25-275, Special Education Plan. This is for information, Dr. Conway.
Chairman Littleton, board members, Superintendent Holloman, and Steve Johnson, come unite with my annual plan just for informational tonight. With this plan, I've got two sections of money that I've with 611, which is flow-through funds. That's my bigger pot of money that I get for more kids that are special educated grades K through 12. With that money, this is reimbursable money. It's not budgeted money. It's money that I can retain, and I can do a lot with it, but I would rather retain teachers and retain personnel, knowing that they will have positions with this money rather than do other things with it. With my 611 money, I will have retained 10 teachers and 2 special education teacher assistants with that money. That is the K-12 education. With that, I'll also do personnel services, with our therapy services, make sure students are getting the therapies that they need and the services that they need. I also have a 619, which is my early childhood money, which is a small pot of money. With that money, though, I do a lot with it. We maintain 4 reverse inclusion classrooms. We have a reverse inclusion classroom at each school. We should have it for next year as well. We also have a primary autism classroom that part of that money goes to support. Again, it's a small pot of money, so just part of that money will go toward just a small portion, like a fourth of the teacher's salary. The majority of it will go toward materials and supplies. So that way our early childhood classrooms that can pay for curriculums, that help pay for, so I don't want to say toys, but tools that they will use in our early childhood classroom. Again, this comes to you tonight for just information purposes. If you want to see, we've got a notebook in my office. Please stop by and see it. I'll be more than happy to show it with you and explain in further detail. Does anyone have any questions at this time about this?
The near future and the talking of abolishing education at the government level, is it going to hurt us?
It shouldn't. This money will be pretty steady. It'll come. I mean, we'll get this money. This shouldn't be affected. They're still going to give us special ed money, and the only thing is the flow of money. We're not getting the amount of money that we got last year. We got more money, but we're only talking like $8,000 more, and we increased the student population. So that money is being affected. But again, we can still retain the things we retain, and still do the things we can do with creative budgeting and what we're doing now. So I don't feel it'll be affected with that. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Just to reiterate, Dr. Conway, that's the 611 funding that he's talking about. That's dropped a little bit.
Yes.
It dropped by about 2% with a 1.5% population, but that's went up. I'm currently serving on the State Special Education Advisory Committee, which I was just there 2 weeks ago, which I made a formal complaint to them that why is our funding going down when our population is going up? And we're not the only ones that's going across the state, so everyone there was complaining about it. So hopefully that helps the state make this right. Supposedly they have a new mechanism for making this calculation, and they've changed a couple of things to explain that that's the reason why.
With that calculation, only somebody that understands the calculation, understands the calculation. So I don't even say that I'm going to try to understand it. So, any other questions? Thank you, Mr.
There's no other question.
Thank you,
Dr.
appreciate it.
Conway.
Thank you.
All right, 25-286, consider approval of the 25-26 calendar amendment. This is an action item.
Forgive me there, I had to find the right thing on my screen. Chairman Littleton and members of the board, we come to you tonight asking for a slight adjustment in our academic calendar. Basically, what we're trying to do is make sure we are always complying with state requirements for standard school day length and instructional teaching hours. And for our elementary friends, it's 990 hours, or 140 credit hours is what that's called with upper grades. So we have realized that Sharon Elementary School and Mountain View Elementary School theoretically can come up a little short at the end of the year because they have had an additional day away from education due to some illnesses in their buildings. So we're proposing to increase the instructional day at both sites by 5 minutes a day for the remainder of the school year. So what will happen is that would mean our tardy bell would ring at a different time at those buildings. So it would go to 8:05 instead of 8:10 in the morning. So that adjustment will correlate with in correlation with instructional bank time and prior use of other tools will ensure that the AHBS schools meet the state standard day requirement. We've also heard good news from transportation that this does not affect their ability to get children to school on time. So that's a really important thing, I believe, to note for you all tonight. We always know any form of schedule change can be difficult, but hopefully by making this a 5-minute interval, it won't affect family schedules too terribly much. So we appreciate the cooperation on that, assuming that you all are able to approve that this evening. We are requesting action on it tonight because that will allow us to put that change into place relatively immediately, most likely on Wednesday, and that gives us the maximum amount of time to make sure that time adjustment occurs. So happy to take any questions on that.
Questions by board members?
No, I appreciate the thinking there.
Any questions? If there's no other questions, I'll move for a motion to approve. Motion by Mr. Umstead, second. Second by Ms. Morgan. Any further discussion by board members? If not, roll call, Ms. Woods.
Mr. Aaron.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franson. Mr. Littleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan.
Yes.
Mrs. Scruggs Duncan.
Yes.
Mr. Umstead.
Yes.
And Mr. Whitson.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Moving on to administrative reports and recommendations, 25-288. CMS situational update. This is an informational item in addition to the agenda. Ms.
Yes.
Alterman.
Chairman Littleton and members of the board, and definitely everyone who's able to hear this report this evening. We're glad to be at the point that we're at, because we're at the point where our return to normal situation at Covington Middle School is imminent. So we're very pleased to bring you an update to that end this evening, and I am speaking from our notes that are also projected here. Included in those notes, just making sure everyone is aware, those blue links, those blue underlines are hyperlinks, okay? And they will take you to more information if you are interested in finding that way through our online agenda. So we're very excited that our teachers and staff were able to return to the building today. They did a fabulous job preparing their classrooms for everyone's return tomorrow. So that's an exciting step because we've all really missed our students at Covington Middle School in person. While our staff has absolutely done a tremendous job providing for continuity of instruction for them, it'll be so nice to have them back in person and have them in a more normal situation. So the last few weeks have of course been challenging as we wanted to investigate serious concerns from the community, and we sought to understand exactly what happened on January 31st and to ensure that that building was safe for all students, all staff, all teachers. And one of the things that occurred during that time is we relied on a whole series of trusted partners who helped us test and analyze the building in what was a very iterative and methodical process. It's very difficult to actually mention all of those partners because there were so many, because the board, we really appreciate your authorization to let us work with all available experts to make sure we did that work very thoroughly. That work did take a little longer than any of us had originally hoped, but we're delighted to have the confidence we have now at this time. So over the past few weeks, based on that information, we've made several updates to the building itself. As you're probably aware, but I want to make sure I reiterate, we did remove an older oven that was not burning efficiently, and we repaired an overhood in the kitchen that was not operating at peak performance, that being the cafeteria kitchen, the kitchen where we prepare food. We repaired an air handling unit that was also on the 3rd floor, or what I tend to refer to as the roof, to improve ventilation overall. We have added additional carbon monoxide detectors to the school, and they are currently in every classroom throughout the building, as well as a variety of common areas to provide students, teachers, staff, visitors, parents, extra reassurance if there ever was a future issue that we might know about it. And we conducted also a deep cleaning of the building. That was something that we thought just made prudent sense, given that it's cold and flu season. And that was able to support the ongoing good work of our school custodians and our maintenance staff in that building. So hopefully that will help us uphold the health and well-being of our students and staff as they return to that in-person experience on a more normal schedule. Of course, what happened in late January was certainly challenging, unexpected, unprecedented. It took a lot of teamwork to get to this point. And that teamwork certainly includes the hard work of our teachers, our students, their families, a variety of individuals in our community, a variety of organizations in our community, as well as a variety of state agencies that assisted us and vendor partners. And all of that needs to be recognized. All of that work provided additional insights, observations, policy recommendations, things that will move forward in the future. But we do want those words of thanks to be loud and clear this evening, because we really appreciate everyone's hard work. That collaboration is of course very important, and any kind of challenge can challenge a community, but communities can also rise to meet those challenges. And we really appreciate that we're at this point at this time. As part of this update, we want to make sure we've reminded everyone that there is what we refer to as a microsite. It's a website that's a whole different site than our regular website. And it does, through the graciousness of the school board, contain 2 full reports that the community or anyone can access through that website. So a mechanical study that was done about the building and an environmental study that was done about that building are available to you in full text. And they are relatively newly received. Those documents were received last week and actually prompted the board's decision to move back to in-person instruction. So really want to highlight the website as a tool. It also has a tool to provide additional feedback to allow for refinement of our frequently asked questions page. And we want to continue to keep that updated. And that does take a little bit of time, so there is a time gap between the time an individual might submit a question and when a response to that question might appear on the website. But we are using that information, and we really appreciate the opportunity to do so. So a lot of work has been done. We really appreciate all of the hard work and the deliberate guidance of the board, again, on this very iterative and methodical process that has occurred. And Ms. Steve Johnson has also been obviously very involved in this, and I want to make sure I didn't miss anything in that update.
No, very comprehensive. Thank you for doing that tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. Do we have questions by the board members?
Just a clarifying question. So my understanding is the gas oven was removed, the gas line capped, and then replaced with an electrical oven. Is that accurate?
Ms. Steve Johnson has the best and most up-to-date information, because I'm going to make sure she responds to your question.
Okay, so we are hoping to start cooking with electricity in the very near future. We have ordered equipment. We are going to try what we've been hoping to do, not try, we are going to do what's called moving food from Mountain View Elementary School in a centralized kitchen endeavor that Ms. Buckner, our school nutrition person, has been wanting to do for a number of years. So food will be coming from Mountain View Elementary School each and every day, hot and ready to serve our students breakfast and lunch, while we continue to explore the best way to complete the kitchen that was all gas. We are moving to electric kitchen.
in that building. Did that answer your question, Mr. Woodson?
Yes, ma'am, I think so. It is, that, you might want to update the website, I guess, with the video.
Yes, sir. It did have a video of me saying that we had received a piece of equipment, that we were installing it, and then we chose to send that piece of equipment back and move to a different piece of equipment. So it does need to be updated, and I thank you for bringing that to our attention. Any other questions from any board members?
Doesn't sound.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Superintendent Holton.
Thanks.
Ms. Sneed. All right, moving to 25-276, Healthy Highlands update, including anti-vaping grant participation. This is for information.
Good evening, Ms. Halterman, Ms. Lee Johnson, members of the board, Chairman Littleton. My name is Sandra McHenry. I'm with the Allegheny Highlands YMCA Healthy Highlands program. Thank you for the opportunity to share some information about the Healthy Highlands Tobacco-Free, Vape-Free Youth Initiative. Tobacco and vaping use among our youth are major health concerns, increasing the risk of long-term addiction and serious health consequences. Our initiative aims to reduce tobacco and vaping rates among youth in Allegheny County and the broader community through education and a comprehensive media campaign. This initiative is made possible through a grant from the Virginia Foundation for Healthy Youth with funding that began in July 2024 and continues through June 2027. The Allegheny Highlands YMCA Healthy Highlands program is proud to partner with the Allegheny Highlands Public Schools and the Allegheny Highlands Community Service Board to bring this important education into the classroom. A key component of this program is peer-to-peer education, empowering students to create and deliver messages that resonate with their peers and encourage positive behavioral change. Another aspect is educating future healthcare professionals about the dangers of tobacco and vaping use, ensuring they are well equipped to promote healthier choices in their communities. The Healthy Highlands program and CSB have developed a presentation on the dangers of tobacco use and vaping, which has been delivered to Nurse Aid 1 and 2 classes, as well as marketing and digital and social media classes at JRTC. Impact has been measured through pre and post assessments, which have shown a minimum 15% increase in knowledge gain in all of these classes. The same presentation has also been used in tobacco education classes at Allegheny High School. You may know this as tobacco school. This ensures that a constant, consistent, effective message reaches all students. Looking ahead, we plan to expand the initiative next year to include healthcare-related courses such as Introduction to Health Sciences, Sports Medicine, and Medical Terminology at AHS, while continuing our educational efforts in the Nurse Aid courses at JRTC. Ms. Jody Burgess has done a tremendous job with the marketing component of this initiative, and in a minute she's going to share an overview of what her JRTC classes achieved in the fall, including the creation of our logo, as well as her students' current and future projects. I'd like to express my appreciation to Mrs. Janelle Cantrell, I know she's still here, for welcoming us into her classrooms. And I want to especially thank Mr. Kraft for his enthusiasm, as always, and support. We're excited to begin this project, and we look forward to seeing and hearing more about it as our students start to share all of their efforts with the community. Ms. Burgess.
Good evening, members of the board, Ms. Halterman, Ms. Sneed Johnson. My name is Jody Burgess. I'm the marketing instructor at Jackson River Technical Center, and I'm very proud to be here today to not only represent our school, but to highlight the wonderful accomplishments of our students. This past fall started our partnership really with the YMCA in this initiative. Our students were educated by members of the YMCA, Dr. McHenry, and the Allegheny Highlands Community Services Board, so that they could help participate in this grant. I do want to point out as well that this is not the first initiative, this is not the first logo creation that our marketing students have completed. This past year, in the fall of 2024, actually maybe 2023, JRTC marketing students also had created the name and logo for the Wheels for Education program in support of the Mountain View Elementary PTO. So these types of partnerships are incredibly important to our students because they're not only learning the principles of marketing, but they're also investing in one another and as well as in their community. The current students that I've had this fall and again now this spring all participated in these presentations. They were given pre and post assessments. And then we also had roundtable discussions just within our classrooms so that students can understand it wasn't just about them and their perception, but the impact that they have on one another. They were asked to create initially a logo for this program. They were given really free will. They were allowed to be as creative as they wanted to, explore all different kinds of opportunities in creation of these logos using different principles of marketing as well as design. In addition to the logo, students also created social media promotion, which is currently being used by the YMCA in support of this initiative. Current students in our social media and marketing classes are continuing that effort with additional social posts, hashtags, as well as banners that will hopefully be used in or on the fences at sporting events later on this year, or next year. Okay. So what did my students do? Well, we spent several weeks, couple of months actually, learning the foundation of marketing. What is brands and brand perception and brand identity? How do we segment or divide up our markets? And then how do we figure out who do we most talk to? What are the consumer perceptions and behaviors? How do we build relationships and create values for our audience? And then we also brought in things like design. What's the meaning of color? Why is it important? What is the impact on the recipient or the receiver? We talked about the importance of typography and various design concepts. They took all of this information and combined it together with online software to create the beautiful design that you see here, which was created by my student, Miss Carly Hope, who we're incredibly proud of. They worked with one another, not just individually. They gave each other feedback. They also inspired one another, giving each other ideas and also sometimes a hard time. But Carly did a fantastic job working through the design process, evaluating the prospective audience, i.e. her peers. It's much different when you sit and talk to a student and say, what would you think if you saw it? Would it impress you or leave an impression on you? Come from that standpoint because we want you to really talk to your peers and connect with them on that basic level. So all of these designs were evaluated. The 4 designs actually rose to the top, and Carly's was selected after a couple of hours, actually on multiple days of going through some different iterations. And she continued to persevere and stay with it and really wanted to present the best possible option for the Y. So again, we're incredibly proud of her and thankful for her dedication to this project. So again, I'm proud to say that this work continues with the next set of students, but I also want to especially point out Carly's accomplishments and the work that she did as a part of this project. So thank you, Carly, for all of your work and effort.
I'm so thankful for marketing class because as a biology major, I know nothing about marketing or graphic design. Carly, thank you so much for all your work, and this is just a little token of our appreciation. It's got your logo on it and a sticker for your water bottle.
Quick question.
Yes, sure.
So I'm trying to link up folks, but Mr. Umstead, Mr. Littleton and I met this past week with Mr. Fisher. And obviously he has a keen interest in stamping out vaping and smoking in all our schools. And one of the comments or requests that he made was new signage. So I thought it pertinent to link Mr. Fisher with your students in your classroom. Perhaps we can work together and develop our own signage to help with the high school and middle school to cover this subject. And I might know someone that can throw in some paper for the printing.
We're on the same page. I met with Mr. Fields and Mr. Ty Dobbs last week. We're working on 7 horizontal banners that the students are designing, but we're also gonna work on just some signs to put on our athletic fields and other places that say no smoking, no vaping, and we'll probably have our logo in the middle.
Outstanding.
In progress.
Any other questions by board members? We appreciate, we appreciate you very much, and we know what a challenge this is, and we're always trying to figure out new creative ways to try to resolve it. But we know it's a problem, just not here, but all across the country. But we thank you very much for your time and your effort with it. And it's a fight that we'll all continue to fight.
Thank you.
All right, on to other business, 25-277, consider acceptance of school nutrition grant from the Allegheny Foundation. This is an action item.
Chairman Littleton, members of the board, I think Ms. Buckner is coming forward on this one as well. But very excitingly, and Ms. Buckner is very much a humble person, but she's been awarded a $13,000 grant to assist us with some school nutrition goals. So Ms. Buckner?
Yes, March is National Nutrition Month. So we've been awarded this grant to provide our students with local beef, 100% ground beef, local. So we'll be trying to do that 2 times this month if they can get it processed in time. If not, we will do it in April. Then also our 5th grade students in all of our elementary schools, we're going to have a fun activity where they make their own healthy snacks. Got a lot of fun aprons, chef hats, their own chef knives, and all the utensils that they need to make this fun snack. So we'll work with the principals to do this. So it's something exciting for our students.
Sounds
Thank
very
you.
good. Are there any questions from Ms. Buckner on this?
No.
This
Thank
is an
you.
action item for us.
It is an action.
Yes, sir. Except the 13,000.
Motion we accept.
Motion by Mr. Olmsted, second by Ms. Scruggs Duncan. Any further discussion by board members? If not, roll call. Thank you
Mr.
very
Garrett.
much. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Franson.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan.
Yes.
Mrs. Scruggs Duncan.
Yes.
Mr. Umstead.
Yes.
And Mr. Woodson.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Ms. Buckner. All right, we move on to board member and superintendent comments. We start at 25-278, public comment. I want to remind everyone that we'll have 3 minutes for public comment, and we ask for you to not refer to any students for their privacy. Please refer to or talk about child as a student. And when you hear the 3-minute timer go off, please wrap up your comment. Ms. Willis.
Lori
yes, ma'am.
Seville.
Ms. Seville.
Hi, good evening. I think you all know me by now. But on my list, the first thing was going to be, I was going to talk about, we have a really big problem. I don't know if it's as much with you all, because I know you all cannot respond as a group. You have to respond individually, I understand all that. But there's, for the last about 3 years, we've had a big problem with communication in this system. If I did not respond to my parents the way that I'm not being responded to, I would be called in and have a letter probably put somewhere in some file. So I think we need to take care of that. And along with that, I was going to mention that we have no working cafeteria. We did not know that until we came in today and just got a message saying that we need to take a lunch count in the mornings. Well, then I asked, why, why are we doing, I didn't understand. Well, we weren't told. We do not have a working cafeteria. And I think that's something that needs to be put out to the parents, not just, to teachers. And I'm gonna kind of be going all over the place because there's so many things I want to try to tell you today, but I might not get to them all. We talked about how the January problem was taken care of, but we still cannot get anybody to understand that there was a problem in October, and there has been multiple times that we had mentioned a gas smell. I actually told one of the people from the school board office what has to happen. Do we have to explode before people pay attention? There's a problem. We need to take care of this. So I did say that to one person. Accountability. Nobody is still taking any accountability for this problem. I get it that the gas leak could have happened at your house, at Walmart. It could happen anywhere. But I think it needs to be looked back into who dropped the ball and where. You know, just as I teach my own children, meaning at home and at school, that if you do something you're not supposed to, you have to accept your consequences. As adults, we're not showing our system, our children, that that's what we're doing. Nobody is saying, I'm sorry, we missed that. And you know what? I've talked to many parents, and if they're not sorry, we messed this up, we're working on it, we're fixing it. Do you all realize how many parents would have been more content as opposed to just taking the shovel and just covering everything up? That's what it seems like. That's what parents are feeling like. That something is just being covered up because nobody is saying, screwed up, sorry, fixing this. Also, I don't have many teachers here, and I don't know if the goal of not just you all, but people at the school board office, if your goal for the day was to destroy your middle school teachers, to take what morale they have and make it even lower, you've accomplished that. That box can be checked because we feel defeated. We feel like we're not being heard. So take that into consideration. Thank you.
Stacy Farad. Sorry.
It's okay.
I appreciate you guys letting me come and talk to you today. I am the mother of a 7th grader at Covington Middle School who is supposed to be going back to school tomorrow, but so far all I have is more questions. I don't feel like anything really has been answered, and maybe these questions are better addressed to Ms. Halterman, but I'm not getting an answer from anyone. I've emailed all of you, I've emailed the info line, I've emailed the other administrative emails that I can find, and nobody's answering anything. I've looked at the microsite, I've read the reports that are on there, and they leave me with more questions than they answer. One of the reports mentions a specific RTU-4 unit that needed to be repaired. No one has said whether or not that was repaired. No one can you answer that? Was that one repaired? Is that one of the repairs that were vaguely alluded to on the microsite?
I don't want to interrupt your comment time, but I'm happy to take direction from the chair. That unit's repaired. We've noticed that question coming in to the FAQ box or the email box.
Sure.
So we'll be updating the FAQ to that end, and we tried to put that in our memo related to this tonight. So we tried to make sure it was there too, but it needs some other places as well.
Yeah, that same one, and probably another question for you, that same report recommended an engineering firm come in and study the airflow before the school was reopened. Has that happened?
That's another question for Chairman Littleton to direct back to me if you'd like to speak. Is that okay?
And just so you know, when Mrs. Holtman's responding, I'm positive.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so that is a long-term piece. So the board has to look at appropriate vendors that might be able to accomplish that. They did feel confident with the results that are in those reports that indicate appropriate air quality ratings.
Did someone come back to check the RTU-4 unit to make sure that the airflow, and where are those reports? Because you guys have 2 reports on there, but I know that there was a fire marshal report that mentioned sprinkler systems that were not operational. Have they been taken care of?
I don't want to interrupt your comment time, so let me just make a note here.
Yeah.
Which reports you're talking about for.
That'd be great. There was a fire marshal report.
You're talking about the fire marshal report?
That's not on the website. And they mentioned, and I know in the fire marshal report there was many small things like stuff in hallways, and I understand that will happen.
Sure.
But they mentioned parts for a sprinkler system that were not operational. And
other problems that had been in last year's fire marshal report that were not remedied in this year's fire marshal report. And that report's not on their microsite. There's only 2 reports on there. When you were speaking earlier, you said that you had a variety of people to come in. Where are the rest of the reports? Because as a parent, my children are the most important thing to me in the world. And you guys are asking that I send her back into a building that at the end of January, an adult was carried out of on a stretcher. Now the other report that they put on their website said that it was unlikely that it was carbon monoxide from the oven in the kitchen. Great, I don't want my kid exposed to carbon monoxide. That's a scary thought. But then what was it? Because there was an adult carried out of the building, ill, and nobody has answered that. You guys are asking us to send our kids back into a building that somebody got really sick in. Can anyone answer what happened? Does anyone have an answer? Because how do you expect me to give you my kid?
Can I interject for just a second?
Yes, sir, Mr. Earl.
The only reason that you're getting a lot of silence is typically these are reserved for your comments to the board. Because just as we were finding out with your questioning to Mrs. Halterman, that can filibuster this entire meeting and may be unfair to anybody else. So that's the only reason for what you're talking about now is a bit of trepidation from any of us, just not wanting to bring that to court.
And I understand, but I would be happy to share any of my comment time with any of you because my kid really wants to go back to school. Her social development has suffered, her academic development has suffered, but how can I as a parent just say, okay, someone was carried out on a stretcher, these things may or may not be fixed, the fire marshal report may or may not be remedied, but yeah, I'll let my kid go back there for 8 hours a day. I mean, I feel like that's very unfair, and that the virtual instruction will be stopped, that we have no choice but to send our children back or withdraw them from the school system. I feel like that is a very unfair position to put parents in right now, because we didn't even know until tonight. I had no idea there was no working cafeteria. You guys are opening it tomorrow. I mean,
I want to give you time, but as time's getting close to you.
That's fine.
But I do want to respond. For cafeteria moves, we've moved food and scheduled it around and had made in one kitchen and taken to another.
Sure.
We've had as previous practices.
And that's fine, but we don't know that. Nobody is telling us anything. And you're expecting us to trust you with our children. How do we do that?
I'm sorry. But I will say that the fire marshal was there this past week. He found absolutely no claims. That report, I'm not sure if we have it yet. I have that verbal from administration that everything was clear about fire marshal and found no violations whatsoever.
Us as parents deserve those reports. Where are they? Because all the 2 reports on the microsite left more questions than they answered. And I got some of those answers tonight, which I very much appreciate, but where are the rest of the reports? And why are those answers not on the microsite? Why is somebody not saying, this is what they say in this report? One of the other points in the report said that when the school is fully occupied, somebody should be in there studying the airflow with the full occupants in it. That's another question. Are you guys planning on doing that? We don't know. Nobody has told us anything. And I think it's very unfair to open the school tomorrow and to expect our children to be in that building without any of these answers, especially about the people who got sick at the end of January. Very sick, adults.
And as far as sickness goes, there is HEPA laws that we cannot disclose.
Absolutely.
And if the person doesn't want it disclosed, we're not going to disclose.
I understand that, but it would be nice for somebody to let parents know that it is safe and why it's safe. Because right now it just feels like a whole bunch of, sorry, good luck, here, have our 600 kids in this building. So I think we should get some more answers before the school's open.
Chairman Littleton, would you like for me to provide any staff response? Thank you. I did want to make sure, and it sounded like you had already addressed it, that that fire marshal report is back internally. We can work on trying to see what we can do with having that on the microsite. That's good news. We understand it's a different kind of look to report. One thing that I would want to make sure that people know about the microsite, and it took me a moment to realize this as well. There's a page called the Transparency Archive, and within that page, there are 3 separate pages that contain a variety of documents and also some space where we can upload some more documents. So it's nice to know what people might find helpful. That's very useful. But 2 of the important reports that are there are pieces from the Virginia Department of Health. Those pieces are in that Transparency Archive, as well as some other documents that may just be useful. You do have to navigate to it, though. And I totally know that sometimes it's difficult to find something on a website, or it just is otherwise challenging to locate it, and we want to make sure people know. Feel free to call our office. If you can't find something, we will absolutely try to assist. So that's not a full answer there to all those topics that were just discussed, but they may be helpful. And we obviously took some notes for our further reflection and consideration, but those pieces are very important, that Transparency Archive continues to exist, and there are a variety of documentation pieces there. They may not be exactly in the same form as the other 2 reports, and that's just very important to know. Hope that's helpful, at least on some level.
Yes, thank you, Superintendent. Ms. Willis, do you have any?
Amanda Thomasek.
Hi. I have a student at CMS also, and I'm going to try to do this without being too emotional. I'm 8 months pregnant, and this has been a very stressful thing on our family. I want to correct something you said earlier. You said y'all added additional carbon monoxide detectors. Y'all put in carbon monoxide detectors. There were none. There were none on January 31st. There were none on October 5th, the day after the October incident. This is not an incident, as y'all call it. This is criminal. This is criminal negligence by definition. By definition, criminal negligence. You have put so many people's lives in danger, not just the children, the teachers, the staff, lives in danger. And you want us to trust y'all with our children and put our children back in this building when you have put their lives in danger. Not once, not twice, but for days. And my child is not being treated for 1 day of carbon monoxide exposure. My child is being treated for long-term carbon monoxide exposure, which means that she can have life issues. I don't think you realize that it was not a 1-day incident. This was not a January 31st incident. They have been inhaling it for days. And it is unacceptable. I'm sorry, I know nothing's gonna change. Y'all are gonna open that school tomorrow. I understand that. But to expect me to trust you guys with my child is absolutely ridiculous. We should have options. We should have options for our children. If we want to keep our children at home, we should have that option to do so. And you guys should provide the education for them, because we are all entitled to the public education for our children. But we should also be entitled to be able to send our kids to a safe place. We need accountability. Whoever's job it was to put those carbon monoxide detectors in the school, not just that school, but all the schools. I called the morning that they were supposed to be in all the schools before the school was opened, according to an email that you sent out. I called the schools. Not a single school could tell me if they had them. By the end of the day, I got phone calls back. They were all installed on that day, but children were in the building. You put their lives at stake that day. I'm sorry, I will finish up. But there has to be accountability, there has to be transparency. These issues that we have, and go check the FAQ page, go check the website. That's great,
But when we are trying to find these things, they should be readily available, not buried in little spots in it. It should be right on the front page. A new hyperlink, a new report came in, each day dated and put on there so we can see it right away, not have to dig for it. That's what transparency is. Transparency is making it available that we can find it easily. And accountability is number one, because this is not negligence, it's criminal negligence. Thank you.
All right, we're moving on to 25-279, school board member and superintendent's comments. I've had some requests us to board members to mix it up a little bit. People have to go to certain places, so I'm gonna go by their request and seniority.
Do you want to, excuse me, I wanted to have a little bit of your time, please.
Did you sign up?
I had never been down here before, and I stood out in the hallway, they told me to wait, so honestly, I didn't know I was supposed to sign up.
Come on up.
Thank you.
You have 3 minutes to make your comment.
Yes, sir. First of all, my name is Pernell Horton.
Can I stop you for 1 second? When you get done, if you would please go to Ms. Willis over here and sign on everything.
I promise
so
you.
she has your name and all that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
Yes,
very
sir.
much.
Well, the children at the school call me Mrs. D. The principals call me Mrs. D. I substitute for Covington High School in Allegheny for a long time. And there was an incident that occurred. I have a paper here, I have a lawyer, so I have a case against this. You're welcome to read this letter if you want to. But what happened was, I was finishing up a job substituting down at Allegheny High School. Well, I get in the call and Mr. Vaughn calls me and said that a parent called him and complained that I mistreated their child. So, you know, I was like, he said, well, he has the investigate. I said, okay, that's fine. So anyway, he sends me a letter. The next day I was supposed to start a full-time job down at Mountain View. He calls me and he sends me this letter, which I have this letter, my attorney gave it back to me, where he says that he did his investigating and so he had to let me go. The board said it was okay. Well, I talked to somebody on the board that said they never heard anything about this. My attorney says that, first of all, I'm employed at Boys Home now, so I don't have no criminal record. I never abused anybody or anything else. The young lady that he was talking about was upset with me because when I worked at the Y, I had children from 16 months to 2.5. I had 8 kids by myself in class, which I was over ratio. So one of my little girls, I know when she gets sleepy, she likes to bite. So she bit the little boy while I was changing another kid. So I put that other kid down, I came over to her, I got off that little boy's back, I sit her on the other side of the room. And that was the end of that. I quit the job there because I felt like I was in a room with too many kids by myself and it was not safe. I didn't have a chance to explain my situation or what happened to me. So the Bible says, face your accuser. So I'm telling y'all now what went down. And I was really hurt and upset about it because I have never, ever mistreated anybody. All of the principals and everybody will call me from every school around here to substitute for them. So I never mistreated anybody. And second of all, the people at the school told me to fight it because they didn't even know why I wasn't there anymore. So I just want to say that, but I do have attorney, and you can have, I can show you this piece of paper. I did not want to have to go through all of that to get an attorney and everything like that, but I feel like that my reputation was on the line and I was accused falsely, and I did not have a chance to explain myself. That was all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, getting back to 25-279, school board members and superintendent's comments. As I stated earlier, I had some requests to mix things up this evening and change things around, so I was going to go by their request and seniority. So, Ms. Coates, would you like to go first?
a senior? Did we know?
Well, no, you just never asked.
Well, the first thing I'd like to do is offer congratulations and gratitude to our award-winning teachers and support staff. I was there Saturday night. There was a lot of pride in that room at the Greenbrier for the teachers and staff that we have in this system. From my vantage point here, I also got to see a lot of pride out there because there were spouses of these people who were getting awards that I wish, I took a couple of shots so that they could see the look of pride on their husbands' faces, or and I want to express my congratulations to all the winning teachers and support staff. Ms. Shreve's class was certainly a welcome and refreshing experience for us tonight. I think that Hearing a Million Dreams was something that we all needed. It was good to have, it's going to be good to have the students and faculty back at Covington Middle tomorrow. I wanted to thank all the teachers and the families for making serious adjustments to your lives as we did the thorough testing, the most thorough testing we could do of the buildings, and any accommodations that needed to be made. The site that was built, we thought was going to, we put those reports in their raw form instead of having them readers digested for you. I was pretty insistent on the actual reports, not a report of the report needed to be made. And we did have a discussion about this air exchanger, the RTU4, whether to replace it or to repair it. We looked at both things, and we also looked at, I don't know that if you realize that we were under pressure from the State Department of Ed. Unless we could show them there was something wrong with the building, they insisted that the kids go back to school. And we, after all the testing, we didn't have anything to show them that there was any reason that you couldn't be in there. I know that one person, it was very upsetting that day that one person was taken out on the stretcher, but they have the right to their privacy. It's up to them. It's not up to us to reveal anything about their health issue and whether it was what it was related to. But I know it's been not just an occurrence, but I know that it's had major impact on the school community. And I just want to thank everybody for remaining respectful. And I hope that we can find a way to move past it. If I thought there was something dangerous in that building, I wouldn't have voted to reopen the building.
Back in the new building. Excuse me, sir. This is not about the court.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't want to talk about anything political. I want to talk about the building that we're in. I also wanted to thank Dr. McHenry for being here. She and I have met also about some anti-bullying projects for next school year. Because as we know, bullying is a serious problem in our school community. And Ms. Horton's gone, so I won't speak to that. But that's all I have. Mr. Lewis.
Thank you very much, Ms. Scruggs Duncan. Ms. Morgan.
Yes. I'll be brief tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming out, recognize our many teachers who were recognized by their principals tonight, and we heard all of their contributions and their dedication, and that's always nice to hear. So congratulations to all the school's teachers and support staff who were recognized tonight. I too enjoyed the third grader. It was third graders from Callahan. It definitely was a bright spot in our night, and appreciate that highlight that we started doing. It's one of the things I most look forward to in the board meetings. And finally, I'm glad that we are working towards reopening. I know the board has spent a lot of time, as well as the teachers and staff and school board office staff, in ensuring that the building is safe, clean, and ready. And we want to continue to partner with the parents and with the staff to make sure that we have a safe environment for learning for our kids. And that's all for me.
Thank you very much, Ms. Morgan. Mr. Olmsted.
I have no seniority. Give it to me. All right, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Ms. Shreve, I've known her forever. I can actually say she's never been in a box. That's why she does the things she does. I think the best teachers that I've ever worked with have never been in a box. And Allegheny has a lot of them. I feel bad for anything like this that happens. So I'm going to make this statement. My wife said that I could make it tonight because I'm on her good list this week. I promised her for the first 3 meetings I would be cordial, kind, and non-aggressive. This is the 3rd meeting. Please come to the meetings from now on because I will become a totally different person. I'm going to protect the kids and the teachers in this school system. Whether the people up here like it or not, it's up to them. I taught for 52 years. My whole objective in life is to educate and protect children, not adults. But in this day and age, it seems like the adults in the school system need as much protection as the kids. The one thing I hear from teachers constantly, they don't respect us, they don't appreciate us, they don't care. I would like an administrator to tell me that instead of telling it to a teacher. None of us would be here if it's not for the bus drivers, the cafeteria people, and the teachers, and their paraprofessionals. Our job is to protect those people. I'm not a chemist. I have a crap house full of education. I can't tell you whether going back on Covenant in high school or middle school is good or not. All I hear are the complaints, and there are a ton of them. So please can keep coming to the meetings. If it gets too crowded, I'll insist that we go to the academy across the street. I want the place to be full. You guys can talk for 3 minutes. If 50 of you talk, it's 150 minutes. Get it in. Say what you gotta say. Because until the air is clean and all's taken care of, we cannot fix these problems. Because bitterness and anger are doing nothing but ripping us apart. And guess who's hearing that? The people I want to protect, the kids. So let's get off of whatever soapbox we're on, do what's best for the kids, either that or get out of the road. Sorry, I didn't mean to take up your time. That's it.
Mr. Woodson. Yes, sir. A couple things. I'd like to thank all the folks that participated in Bob and myself's orientation. Mr. Littleton was there as well, probably didn't need it as much as we did, but I know that time's hard to find, and we spent some quality time with some of the administration staff on Friday. Very enlightening. Several items were mentioned and lots to follow up on. One key item I think that was discussed was communication, and we needed to improve in that arena. So more to come on that. Another item is kind of a follow-up. I know I mentioned this at every meeting, but I don't know how we can put it on the agenda or have a discussion about it, but I'd like to see us double down our efforts around character education, and part of that is with the board. I think having a local pastor to open our meetings in prayer is a good idea. We can talk about that, as well as posting the 10 Commandments at the entranceway of every one of our schools. That's a start. Also include character counts type of education and other items along the way. We should make extracurricular activity earned right, not a given, and more work needs to be done there. Also think we ought to, as a board, have a meeting to go through how we work through our agendas. You know, right now, our agendas feel more like a presentation than an open meeting. I think we need to fix that, and I feel like we can with some minor changes. and I also think, we need to revisit the board norms and probably talk about the reorganization timing of this board and when it happens. Because you know, typically those reorganization meetings happen after an election and a new board is put in place versus the way it's happening today. The other item I'd like to talk through is directly related to this board. I think we are now a fully consolidated school system. That fact is not a question nor up for consideration. It's a consolidated system. This is your board. The 7 of us are currently an elected/appointed school board, soon to be all elected once the cycle goes through. And we are elected by voters of Allegheny County and the city of Covington, and we're elected to represent the public. That's what we do, right? Our powers and authorities are clear in the Virginia Constitution, Article 8, Section 7. It reads, the supervision of schools at each school division shall be vested in the school board to be composed of members selected in a manner for the term, posing the qualifications, and to the number provided by law. It's also fairly clear when you look at the State Code of Virginia, Section 22.1/71. The duly appointed or elected members shall constitute the school board. Every such school board is declared a body corporate, and in its corporate capacity is vested with all the powers and charged with all the duties, obligations, and responsibilities imposed upon school boards by law, and may sue, be sued, be contracted with, and in accordance with the provisions of the title purchase, take hold, lease, and convey school property, both real and personal. School members appointed or elected by the district or otherwise shall have no organizational duties except such as may be assigned to them by the school board as a whole. Together, we are the authority of the school system. Separately, we're nothing, basically. Okay? So this school board is a board. My personal opinion, again, this is getting off track a little bit, but not totally, so bear with me. We need to stop working to politically appease other entities and begin to govern this consolidated school system. We're in charge of the school system. We need to ask ourselves in each situation, what is the best action to take to provide our students and staff with as many opportunities as well as with the best tools and the best and safest surroundings to be successful in every endeavor, and to do so as cost efficiently as we possibly can for the public, taxpayer. To me, that's what it is. It's pretty simple. Those are the things we need to ask ourselves in every situation. We cannot impede the progress of the school system to prioritize one building that has 86 years of glorious history over a more modern facility that is just 24 years old. Likewise, we cannot let 9 miles of distance prevent us from offering our best to a larger student body, nor keep us from operating our consolidated system as efficiently as possible. We are charged with that duty. That is in fact, our duty. My ask tonight is this school board and this community is please stop bickering. To Bob's point earlier, we can't get anything done together if we're bickering at each other and beating on doors or whatever the case may be, right? That's not the path forward to get to a good resolution. So let's stop bickering and playing politics and start putting our kids' opportunities into success first. That is why we are all here, period. It's not to play politics. It's not to make one person happy over another. It's not to appease somebody that says, I'm going to take my ball and go to my house if I don't get my way. That is not what we are here to do. There will be more to come. I just ask you to be patient, get involved, participate proactively, and and try to cut the bickering out. Let's move forward and do the best we can.
Mr. Eric?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, thank you. A lot that's been said already that I agree with, and not the least of which was our award winner. Several of us were at the Chamber of Commerce dinner over the weekend. It's nice when a community comes together to support public education. And it's nice when you have an entity like the Chamber of Commerce that historically does support this community in a lot of different ways. So, nice evening for all, and extra special since we got to watch some of our people get recognized like they deserve. A lot of things been said so far that I agree with, some that I do not. I've got a little bit of a preamble before I go into what I'd really like to say, just kind of clearing some things up. The last 40+ days have weighed heavy on me, as they have for a lot of people in this room. Everything that I'm about to say is my perspective as a board member, and when I say we, I mean us, this board here, these people. I believe, like has been said, we are the final stop for accountability in this school division, and we are here to direct with clarity, ensure stability, and unify our community to a very great degree. This CMS incident did show me that we have a lot of work to do in that area. And I aim to start yesterday. So all of that said, we have no excuses. We have no excuses. We are not perfect, but we are committing to guiding AHPS to be an excellent school division. The only silver lining that I can find of the last 6 weeks has been it has been an excellent pressure test. And what I aim to do is help this board, help us, turn that pressure into progress, because that's important. It's what we've been talking about all along, of analyzing things. So we will turn that into progress. The pressure obviously hit many different people in this community, and I understand why it caused stress. Many of you spoke to that this evening. I'm a husband, a father, and a board member. I have seen this all throughout the community, varied responses. This was tough, and no one questions that. We wished we could have taken it away, but we cannot. The good news is that we can all agree that our children's safety is non-negotiable. We poured in immense effort and time into securing CMS. I'm proud to say we prioritized actions over words, but we faltered in keeping our community informed. We faltered. So the criticism about communication is fair. We could have done more to ease concerns and communicate with each other and engage with every stakeholder. And that's a lot of different people, guys. I want you to understand that's everybody from parents and community members all the way up to state level folks. We could have done more, and I'd like to think that we are making strides to that end right now, but it's going to take long-term commitment. So, adding some of that up, I think good communication will drive transparency. And that isn't just a word. I'll try to define it. It should be a commitment to the practice of being open and honest, or letting the truth shine through, or at least that's the goal. Good communication makes transparency real, and that builds trust. As I'm sure everyone in this room knows, trust is the foundation of every relationship you have. And for me, every meaningful connection that I've ever had rests right upon that. Trust can break, but it can also mend. I'm a sucker for a good quote, so if you all will indulge me for just a second. Ernest Hemingway said, "The best way to find out if you can trust someone is to trust them." This is a choice that we can make together tonight. All of us, parents, staff, administration, teachers, this board, the entire community. And I believe this board will make a commitment to advancing that along the way, rebuilding and sustaining that trust. That is my hope. As was alluded to by Mr. Woodson, I'll agree with that. Last but certainly not least for me, I want to remind us nobody in this room is an enemy to anybody else. We might disagree with each other, and sometimes strongly, But I believe in the idea that the Allegheny Highlands is one community. And that is the very premise that this school division was founded upon. And we would do well as a community to protect that idea with everything that we've got. So,
Thank you, Mr. Harriet.
What's up next?
Yes, sir, Mr. Franson.
I too want to thank y'all for showing up tonight and coming in. And, you know, the ones who expressed your views, but, you know, I'd like to say, it's been my second term on the board, and I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, there's not a single board member here that would let a kid go in a building that we was not sure was safe. Okay? That is our paramount responsibility, is to educate our kids, to give them opportunities, and to make sure they're safe. And when I say the kids, if the kids are in the school and they're safe, so should the teachers and the staff. But there's no way in the world, that, you know, I've got a lot of emails, and most of our emails we were asked to send to the info so that we could get one response for it, so that you didn't get 7 different responses to these emails, okay? It wasn't we were ignoring you, it's just we were trying to figure out a way for you to get a good answer, a correct answer, not 7 different opinions, okay? So as far as the communications, it is very difficult, okay? If this incident happened on January 31st, it is hard to come in here on February the 1st or February the 5th and say, we got this fixed, we know what it is, it's done. That's not how things go. When you investigate something and you want people to trust you, you know, to trust your opinion, you get a lot of different stakeholders in there to look at it. We got environmental studies done on this thing. We got a mechanical, you know, study for the furnace and stuff to make sure all that was fine. But it took time, but we were not gonna let these kids go back in this building unless we were sure it was safe. We have people on the board who have kids in that school. Do you think for a minute they'd send their kid down there if it wasn't safe? I know you guys have doubted us. I know you lost a lot of trust. And you think we wasn't communicating, we wasn't telling you things, we were covering up stuff. That's not the case. We covered up nothing, okay? I mean, if we was gonna cover something, first thing we'd asked us is, was there carbon monoxide detectors? Sure, they're all over the building. It wasn't the case. So we were honest with it, okay? We addressed the problem, and it was done. We made sure that all the farmers, you know, one of the things that wasn't mentioned was the first farm, you know, it was in the paper, the first farm marshal report in April 24, I believe it was. They give us these things we had to fix. Well, what they didn't say was they didn't come back to see that they were fixed. They were fixed then. It's the second report, you know, like when you leave the building in a hurry, they had mats rolled up, rascal mats, I think it was. And it blocked a couple of things. That wasn't the same violation as before, it was a different violation. And we fixed all those. Those things have been done, and I am sure that the administration has laid it on somebody's heart who works there in the maintenance, that this is not gonna happen no more. You know? And when you say about accountability, we are accountable for the school system. I mean, I'm not gonna go, I told you that'd be a liar. I'm not gonna go to every school and touch and look, say, let's see, that furnace works good, this and don't, because I'm not an engineer. But once it come to our attention that we need to fix it, we fixed it. Okay? I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, no way would we send kids. No way would we send a kid in that building if it was not safe. Okay? And I too want to congratulate the teachers. I need to get in by soapbox. Congratulate all the teachers. Congratulate, you know, the winners, the support staff. Again, y'all don't know, well, most of you teachers, most most of you know how much, how hard everybody had to work. But, I mean, administration, teachers, staff, paraprofessionals, bus drivers, kitchen people, all of these people we're just swamped with stuff to do. And you're talking about, you know, not having fresh cafeteria food. Ms. Buckner is bringing that food from another place, okay, so that your kids can get it and have good food, warm food. So, I mean, you know, you have to realize just how much stress we've put on everybody, including the board. You don't know how many calls we've gotten, how many emails and stuff. You know, most people were real sweet. You always get a few who gets a little upset about things. But this is a conservative Christian area, and we have to remember that. Okay? We have to remember. Thank you.
Superintendent Halterman.
Good evening, everyone. My notes here this evening have a couple different sections just because of the breadth of the reading material. But I wanted to revisit the CMS piece. I want to continue to reassure folks that we're looking at those questions coming in so that we can continue to update that website and any other communication strategies we might need to use. We are really trying to make sure that communication is on point and centralized so that people get that message that they need. And we really appreciate everyone working with us on that. It's very important to take all the concerns seriously, and those processes that have been used, they have been time intensive, but they have been layered and methodical and with tons of steps and with tons of subject matter experts. So we really continue to appreciate the patience with that process and the work of that process. So no matter individual feelings on that process, I want to say thank you very sincerely for that gift of time and for those individuals who contributed for that gift of expertise that we've received. I also want to make sure that I say a thank you and a congratulations to a number of individuals who were recognized this evening or recently in other capacities. It was really special to begin our meeting with our teachers and support staff of the year. Individuals across the school division do incredible work every day under a lot of different situations, and we really appreciate all of that hard work. It was really interesting to hear the wonderful presentation on Dr. McHenry's grant. I do refer to it as Dr. McHenry's grant, but I should probably properly call it the Healthy Highlands grant. They work very hard to make sure that that is an effort to help increase public health in our community, and it's a very useful effort. And something we've talked about, you know, in this room several times, different strategies we can use to keep our kids healthy and growing. We have several state and regional awards going on right now in our career technical student organizations. Those are our CTSOs. I'll leave it to Mr. Kraft and to Mr. Ross to recognize those more formally at a future date, because those seasons are not done, if you will. But those are very exciting accomplishments, and I want to make sure we honor those while they're in progress, because it's sort of like a sports season. It's sort of an awkwardly timed sports season. And of course, we're very, very glad that we had our students from Callahan here tonight demonstrating reading skills. As a former kindergarten and first grade teacher, those skills are very valuable, and those activities that engage the kids in the reading, like what you saw this evening, was wonderful. It's obviously a sweet song, and it's obviously beautiful to hear them singing, but it was also really important to see them reading. We are deep in our budget season. I want to make sure everyone here knows that the budget that the board approved this evening is also discussed again tomorrow evening at a joint budget session. So if you weren't familiar with that process, I wanted to make sure you were aware of that. That meeting will be at Covington City Council's location this year. That's the City Hall, excuse me. Allegheny County will be there, and the school board will be there as well. So that's another opportunity for that budget to be in front of the public. So thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. And to reiterate that meeting is at 6:30.
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, I should have announced the time. That meeting is at 6:30. The different public bodies in the community sometimes meet at slightly different times, so it's good to double check that. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. I just want to thank.
It's at 6, the meeting.
It's at 6.
Our apologies, it's at 6.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
6.
thank
Well,
you.
I need to talk to Mr. Gardner and remind him that it's 6. That's on 6:30.
It's all good, it's all good. Thank you.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for coming. I I want to thank everybody that's here and working so diligently hard, you know, from the top to the bottom. I mean, we have lots and lots of people put in overtime, and everyone here is here because of their love for children. I don't think anyone's signed up here because of the pay. I know myself, I have a son that's in our system. That's what brought me here, because I want the best for him. I want the best for all of our children. I want to thank everyone for coming to speak tonight. We do understand the concerns, and we do want to answer them as fast as possible, as Mr. Franson said. And I don't know what else to really reiterate from everybody else. Seeing so much was said, but congratulate all the teacher winners that were got to have a great night with the Chamber of Commerce dinner. Thank you. We will move on to closed session business. 25-284, Code of Virginia, 2.2-3711.A.1. Personnel matters, actual potential appointments, assignments, resignations, terminations, and salaries. 2.2-3711.A.7. Legal matters, discussion briefings by staff members pertaining to actual or probable litigation. 2.2-3711.A.10. Discussion, consideration of recognitions and special awards. 2.2-3711.A.19. Discussion of school safety reports. 2.2-254.E. Compulsory attendance, including student case 25-68. 2.2-3711.A.8. Consultation with counsel for providing of legal service by such counsel regarding the teacher grievance matter, including case S-25-09. Do we have a motion to go into closed session? Motion by Mr. Umstead,